It's time for On Point, where we speak to experts to delve deeper into some of the key issues in the spotlight right now. Amid inflation pressures and other factors, the Bank of Korea is expected to raise interest rates yet again on Thursday. And this comes as just last month, South Korea's central bank decided on a 50 basis point rate hike, also known as a big step for the first time in its history. Now your turn.
So how long will this trend of raising interest rates continue? For more, we have Professor Jinill of Korea University with us today. Good morning.
Morning.
So let's get with the numbers first. How much do you expect the rate hike to be? It seems that many do not think there's going to be another big step, as we call.
Right. So as with those many people, I am expecting a 25 basis point increase, which is what most people mention as a baby step, where that's a word coined by, I believe it's Alan Greenspan, who was a former Fed chair.
And while inflation, of course, that's been one of the biggest concerns, not just in Korea, but all over the world. And well, recently with the US dollar showing a lot of strength over the South Korean won, which has just been weakening and weakening, would a rate hike be able to just calm this issue down, basically?
I mean, if there's a rate hike, in principle, it would calm down that pressure on the exchange rates, but it's relative what people have expected in the past. Since most people have expected interest rate hike at the level of 25 basis points, that expected hike would not change much in calming down the pressure for the exchange rate market. So in that sense, if it could go the other way, because some, not many, but a minority of the market participants were expecting a 50 basis point hike, like another big step, even though it's only a minority. So the expected 25 basis point rate hike would increase the exchange rate. There's a possibility of that as well. So that's always what's difficult for economics, in the sense that what matters is relative expectation rather than what happens in the data.
Right. Now, the main point of all these jump in interest rates is inflation. But a lot of experts have been saying that we might be seeing the worst at the moment. So is it at the peak? Have we seen the worst yet?
I hope so, but I'm afraid not, in the following sense. If the markets or economy would evolve as expected, yeah, I hope we have seen the worst in terms of inflation number. Basically, I hope that we have seen the highest number, the highest inflation has passed us. I expect so and hope so, but there's a possibility that other interest rate or inflation surge may happen again. As we saw in the last 10 minutes from your news, there's an issue of the Korean PPI, Producer Price Index, that's higher, like I remember they say 9% like 10 minutes ago. And then other news you have broadcast is the COVID issue regarding the choose of the visiting the nursing homes or not visiting the nursing homes. So those issues of the COVID and prices, and furthermore, this weather issue, as all Koreans have experienced the past several days, this rain has impacted our life a lot. Of course, for the human toll, that's the most important, but also for the inflation issues, like the agricultural price. So there are risks here and there. And then in that sense, I cannot exclude the possibility of more inflation risks. I believe that's what the people, or 7 people, you showed the picture of 6 monetary policy committee members, but now they have filled the last slot, the last month. So all those 6 people, or now the 7 people at the monetary policy committee, will discuss those risks as well. But the risks are there, but it's not imminent. So in that sense, I believe, as the anchor said at the start, that the Bank of Korea would choose the 25 basis point rate hike, which is what they call the baby step.
So it's very concerning that experts like yourself, Professor, see inflation as rising in the future even further. And that's very concerning for South Korean households, many of which are riddled with household debt right now at record levels. So When do you expect the raising of interest rates to stop? At what point do you think the Bank of Korea will say this is enough?
Yeah, so when is it enough? That's like when the first point is when you say ride a car, you know what you expect, like the 60 miles per hour in the United States or 100 or 90 kilometers per hour. That's how you approach that limit when you start your car. But here, in terms of monetary policy, people do not know what that final goal is. The target for inflation rate for the Bank of Korea and for the Fed and many other central banks is 2.0%. And then we have to account for the growth of the economy. So say 0.5% real interest rate for that, then we have 2 plus 0.5, which is 2.5%. That's what people call this neutral rate. So we have to approach 2.5%. But how? That's the question. How fast? And then now other issue is, should we overshoot it? Basically, should we go up above that 2.5 and come back slowly to 2.5? Or should we approach 2.5 from below? So those are all the discussions of when do we stop interest rate hikes. So in that sense, there's a chance, especially for the United States, to go over that target rate or neutral rate and come back. So that's what makes it so difficult in terms of expecting the end of the rate hikes. Yeah, another economist answer. Sorry for that.
Well, as I think we got as close as we got, at least. So, well, thank you so much for this the interview this morning, and hope to speak to you again soon.
Thank you, and hope to see you again soon.